Okay, so I'm never quite sure how to start these videos, but basically this is the Ask Anything series about marketing, and it's really simple. I have this fishbowl, and it's full of questions that I've received from LinkedIn conversations and emails and chats with current and prospective clients. And basically, what I'm doing is just picking one and answering it for you, just as a bit of an experiment to see how this works and hopefully help a few people. So I'll just grab one. So I'm going to go for this one. What have we got? Okay, how do I stand out from the competition? Okay, well, first I think it depends on how competitive your industry is. So, I have clients who have literally four other competitors in their space, and then I have global clients that have, thousands of competitors. So I think depending on how competitive your industry is, depends on the strategy and the tactics that you'll use to do this. But if I think about my business for a second, so when Amari started back in 2017, a quick Google search told me that there were 793 other marketing agencies in Hampshire alone. So pretty competitive, and to begin with, I wasn't too fussed about it because Amari was quite different in the fact that we had paying clients from day one. But I think about a year in, I'd got staff, I'd got bills to pay, I'd got offices to pay for, etc. And so I really started to think about, how do I stand out from the competition? Like, how do I do this better? Because I needed more clients to pay the bills. And so I went on all the webinars and did all the things that people do, and I really struggled because the questions were really difficult. There were things like, what do you stand for? Like, I remember spending ages trying to find my why, and going through the workbook and stuff like this. And then it was what does your buyer profile look like? Why would people swipe right for you? What do you do best in your business? These kinds of questions. And we were a bit of a chameleon. We did whatever the client needed at the time. So we were really, we didn't have a particular thing we were really, really good at. We were just really good generalists. And so, yeah, I really struggled with it. And, because of that, we didn't really do anything. And I sort of look back at the website, I look at the copy that we had on the website about a year ago, and I just cringe because it was awful. It was so bad. It was just full of buzzwords and jargon and it was just such rubbish. Because we were trying, we were just the same as everybody else. And then when I looked to rebrand the business earlier this year, I thought, right, I've really got to think about this now. And where I got to with it was, I didn't want to do what I'd done before because I'd really struggled with it. And so where I started was like, what do I hate about my industry? And actually, there's an awful lot that I hate about my industry, if I'm being really blunt about it. And so I just got a blank piece of paper, and I just had, I went for it. I just wrote down everything I hated about my industry, because actually, that anger was I was fired up. Gosh, I was fired up, and it's just energy, And if you invert that, then you find out what you're passionate about, and that for me was just a hell of a lot easier than trying to sort of sit there philosophically trying to find my why, which felt very far away at the time. And yes, that's where I got to. So with marketing, particularly, one of the things I hate is the fact that people make it so complicated, and they make people feel like they can never do it for themselves. And, I think sometimes we get so concerned with the data and, trying to forecast what people are going to do and trying to call them to action that actually we forget it's just about giving people the information that they need when they need it, and doing that in the simplest way possible. And that's where we got to. So, Amari's messaging now is pretty clear. It's just, we help get the message straight, and we rehabilitate people's relationship to marketing. That's what we do. And so once I'd written all that stuff down, that's how I think we now stand out from the competition. We keep things nice and simple. And so, yes, that's how do you stand out from the competition? Start with what you hate about your industry, and then go from there. And whenever I start with a new client, the first thing I always do with them is I take them through what I call a brand shrink, which is basically like 15 questions where we just get really pissed off. We just rant over cups of tea for a very long time, because that really helps me sort of unearth the sort of the energy that I need in order to help with the copy. And that's how we do it. So that's what I would suggest in terms of how do you stand out from the competition, is figure out what you want to change, and then go from there.